everybody. Welcome to Hallmarkies podcast. We are talking about Ride, and this is the final episode of the first season. And we'll talk a little bit about the season as a whole. It's going to be super fun. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments or on Twitter. And I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and Terry's here.
Hi.
And author Jenny Martz is here.
Hi, everybody.
Yay. Yes. And so we missed you in our last recap. How did you feel like they did kind of leading up to this finale?
I loved that we learned more of Valeria's secrets. And I was a little mad at her because Missy was just saying, okay, now you're done with all the secrets. And all of us on the outside are going, no, she's not. She didn't tell you everything.
Yeah.
Nope.
So
Yeah.
I liked that. And I liked Gus showing up. Was that in the last one, or was that? I can't remember when Gus showed up with the flowers, but
No, that's
Oh,
this
the
one.
last episode.
Okay,
Yeah,
we can talk-
that's this one that we're talking about.
but yeah, I thought a lot on that, and I just was. She's like, I promise this is all my secrets, and then I was like, oh, that is not all
Yeah. There's so many secrets.
my secrets.
Well, this episode is called The Andalazians, and it is the National Cheyenne Rodeo gives Cash his final chance to win the Frontier deal. It's a race against time, and an unexpected twist will shock the McMurrays to the core. So, Terry, overall, what do you think about this finale?
I liked it. It was a little predictable. I kind of figured out where everything was going, but I liked it.
Yeah, what do you think, Jenny, for the finale?
I loved it. I thought they left a lot of really fun, open-ended things. They're obviously planning a season 2. They've given us a lot of fun things to look forward to in season 2. Yeah, I'm so ready to dive in. I thought there were so many fun things that they did at the end. They gave us.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I thought it was a pretty good finale. I still don't know if I 100% understand Missy as a character. You know, what's she doing? What's going on with her? I think that writing could be stronger. But other than that, I think that hopefully they will see the potential in the show and give it another season, because I think it's the kind of show that could really like grow and develop into something. Like, I mean, we'll talk a little bit more at the end about kind of how we feel about the overall thing, but I just feel like it's got all of the bones there, and you just need an executive who's like, okay, I'm going to like put a little faith in this for a couple of, for another season at least.
Yeah,
Hopefully they will. We'll see. But yeah, it starts out with Tucker and Cash in jail. And so Tucker says, I'm not the bad guy here. I took on your brother's debt. And he threw the rides for that. And he says, I deserve a thank you for keeping my mouth shut if it were to get out that Austin cheated on the sport he loves. So what do you think, Terry, about Tucker?
Well, he's a great antagonist. I mean, he really is. You love to hate him.
Yeah.
I'm still debating on whether the show wants us to think of Austin. Like, was he a good guy? Was he a bad guy? Was he super complicated? Because they want to make Cash seem better than he was. But there's just not enough in the fleshing out the Austin character, which is hard because he's passed on. But
yeah. We talked about that last time, that it's pretty
Yeah.
unusual in a show like this to have a character that's died be so complicated, and that it isn't clear quite if we're supposed to feel like he took advantage of Missy. Are we supposed to not like him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely very interesting. What do you think of that, Jenny?
I agree. I think they're doing that on purpose. I think they're trying to keep us conflicted about Austin, especially, once we saw the end. So I think they do want us kind of going back and forth. Do we like him? Do we not like him? Was he a good guy? Was he a bad guy? Why was he doing this? I think they really have strung us along all season. Like, why was Cash doing this?
Yeah. I mean,
I
like
mean,
it,
not Austin. Why was
yeah.
Austin?
If you compare it, I used this example last time, but if you compare it to Heartland, I mean, Amy's mom dies at the beginning, kind of a similar setup, with a character dying in the first episode, and she's just the best mother. There's never any sense of like her being a complicated character, and I would say that's normally the way it is. So I just feel like it's kind of unique to have this kind of interesting character.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
More believable too.
Yeah. And there's all kinds of problems going on at the ranch. The tractor's getting repossessed. And
it's a day.
Yeah. And Isabel doesn't bail Cash out. She doesn't want him going to Cheyenne. And that's when Tucker says, whoever said jail was boring.
Yeah, I was glad that they had that little time where he finally could get some answers, where Cash could finally get some answers out of Tucker. But I was quite surprised when Isabel walked away and did not bail him out of jail.
Yeah.
Same.
Because I mean, now she's lost her husband and her son to this sport, to rodeo. And I can understand why she would be like, I'm not losing another one to this sport. But then again, like, it's so hard to disentangle. It's so hard to disentangle her life and everything from rodeo. Like, she'd almost have to move, I think, for that to not be like a part of her life.
Well, and I thought that when she first walked in, I thought she overheard what Tucker was saying, because he had just said that Austin had cheated. So I thought that she overheard what he said. But then after she finished and kind of walked away, I realized, oh no, I guess they weren't saying that she overheard it.
Yeah. So Tucker says, sorry, your brother died. Never wanted that. And he says that he only worked with Austin for 4 months and that he needed a lump sum for something. And then Tucker says, I'll bail you out. And you do what I want and we'll split it 50-50. And
boy, he's roping himself into more trouble with Tucker.
Yeah. And Tucker got a chunk of change for you. Tick tock, tick tock.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Love it. It's so good.
That in there, yeah.
Yes.
And then it really made you think all up until the ride, like, is Cash going to do it?
Yeah. That was effective because you didn't know what he was going to do. And I mean, he's the lead of the show, so he's not going to like die, but like, I could have seen them leaving on a cliffhanger of him getting really hurt.
Yeah.
I never thought that was going to happen. I thought he's going to be victorious. I just always thought it was going to end, at least that part, in a upward, that it was going to end good for him on that aspect.
Yeah. I don't know. I could have seen it both either way.
Well, because there was so much of the episode still left. So I was like,
that's
no.
true. That's a good point.
So I have to tell you that right after that, the line with the scene with Isabel and
Mhm.
Hank. Are you getting to that? 'Cause
Well,
that's
so
what I'm-
isn't that the one she says, I'm trying to put a brave face on this, and he says, don't put a brave face on this, just be brave.
Be brave. That was my favorite line. Of
Yeah.
the whole.
Yeah.
Don't put on a brave face. Be brave. It drew tears to my eyes. I
Yeah.
love that so much.
That was good. That
It
was really
was.
good.
My
Yeah.
favorite guy.
Yeah, because people say that all the time. And I've never heard that rebuff from it. I'm just
Yeah.
putting a brave face. Well, just be brave.
I loved that so much.
Yeah, yeah.
So did
Eh,
you wonder where our favorite guy was? Cody? Where was Cody in this whole
Yeah,
thing?
that's all I was just gonna say. Is Hank getting some bonus points this episode?
Cody comes to every other episode apparently.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, but did you see Hank was having coffee with Missy's mom? So then I thought, maybe
yeah. I forgot that. That's right.
he's gonna hang
right,
out
so
with
Hank has options
Mhm.
when the Cody thing eventually happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then Tough has a new song for Janine. And then she's submitted it to the Battle of the Bands in Texas. And she says all the other McMurrays get to go after their dreams except for Tough.
Right.
He like a classic kind of middle child who gets kind of lost in
The
the
shuffle. Yeah.
yeah.
That's me. I'm a middle child.
Yeah.
Yep. Always get ignored. Yeah.
I don't understand why he's so upset about her submitting this and why he doesn't want to go. Like, I guess because he's the new foreman, but I don't know. I think he would be stoked about it. He wants to be a musician, right?
I
Yeah.
think he came to that fact in the end that he wants to pursue that, but earlier on in the episode, he's worried about his family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Janine says, I don't think I've heard any of you ask what he wants.
Right.
Yeah.
He's so there for everybody else that kind of gets lost in the shuffle.
Yes. And so then we get a conversation between Tough and Cash. And he says Austin's death wasn't her fault. He could make that ride 1,000 times, but he didn't. So yeah. And then this is when Missy finds the Andalusian horse necklace that goes with the jewelry box.
Has he been carrying that around for years?
I mean, it did seem kind of random that it would
weird
just happen to be there. So yeah, he must just always be carrying it.
She said it fell out of his gear bag.
Yeah, he must have it in his bag all these years.
I guess
through war, through everything. Oh boy.
Yeah.
He's got it bad.
Yeah, and I still feel confused about how much Missy is interested in this relationship, because again, in the pilot there were 2 near kisses. She seemed invested, and then we haven't gotten anything and from the 2 of them until this episode from her. And so I don't know, it's kind of confusing what they want us to think about Missy and her feelings about Cash and her feelings about Austin.
And her feelings about Gus.
Yeah, and Gus as well.
It's like it's all an afterthought.
We skipped that because Gus comes, he apologizes to Missy, and he says, I got scared because I was falling in love with you. That was very sweet.
Gus.
He had to redeem himself from last week.
Yes.
Because he was very childish last week.
Yes.
But I still feel sorry for this character because I was like, because I kind of feel like even if there's a season 2, we're not going to get anything with Missy, which he should just go in a different direction, if there's a season 2.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, the writers want Cash and Missy together. Yeah. But it's not successful because I still don't understand why.
Yeah. It would be interesting if I don't know, maybe Janine or somebody, they could have a second interest for Gus, because I do agree
Val
that,
is right there.
yeah, Valerian, I don't really picture her with Gus though.
No, but I don't know. If they
I
wanted to
could
keep
picture
it
Janine
like
more.
well, yeah, she's less of a mean girl now. So
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't want Janine to be with Gus. Well, yeah, she
I
is.
don't know.
I
Tough.
mean,
I don't know because
Been
yeah, I mean, I don't know. They could always bring in a new character as well.
true. Do we know
Uh,
how long Missy and Austin were married for?
That's a good question.
I don't
don't
know
think
if it was said in the.
I don't think it was that long. A couple of years.
Has to be, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
don't
sure. That's a
remember.
good question. If anybody
Sorry.
knows,
I
let
can't
us-
recall if they mentioned it or not.
I have to give a shout out. I love that Gus commented on our podcast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Why don't you tell everybody what he said?
He said, what did he say? Oh, how sweet. Or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because we interviewed him.
Excuse
We
me.
interviewed the actor, and he was great. And so he knows we're fans.
Oh, Gus, come on.
So then whoever gets the top score gets the sponsorship, and then they find out the Cash is on Hurricane, and Valeria tells Missy,
That was coming, didn't we? We knew he was gonna
Yeah.
draw Hurricane.
yeah,
Yep.
they were leading up to that this whole season. You knew there was going to be
Oh, yeah.
a hurricane ride, and Valeria tells Missy about Austin throwing rides, and then she says Hurricane is the excuse. And then Cash says this ride is for Austin, Mom, and the whole family. He says that to Tough. So yeah, it's building up the tension.
Tension, yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
Those were good scenes.
Mm-hmm. And then Missy says to Cash, says, "You are not your brother. Don't take the easy way out. It's not worth it." So
True, but like
yeah.
there's so much she doesn't quite know of right now.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the behind the scenes where they had the on Instagram where they showed them doing basically like a green screen effect for Missy and the truck riding? Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
And that was like, they're not doing that on Heartland. So that was definitely very surprising to me to have
Yeah.
it be a special effect. I mean, you could tell when you watched it, but seeing that on the Instagram was
Yeah,
kind
they
of
put the effort in it, so appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he gets it. He gets the 8 seconds.
Yeah.
That's really good.
No, he would.
Yes. And then we get this dinner where Cash is toasting to everybody. And then Isabel says, "Thank you for forgiving me." I guess for not
Aw.
bailing him out. But it probably made him do better because he knew how serious it was.
Sure.
Serious for his mom too. So yeah. And then Valeria says, "I would do anything for this family." And we get this scene between Gus and Cash. Cash says, "I just want her to be happy." So
Oh,
yeah.
That's where they were looking at windows.
What's that?
Is that
Oh,
when
when they were looking in the windows, yeah, for the door.
That was so cute when they both were in the window. Missy, where are you?
Yeah.
Oh, but like, man, Cash has been in love for so long with Missy.
From the author of the Friendships and Festival series comes a story of what's next, second chances, and making life and hockey better for ourselves and others. The Bat Mitzvah Mistake kicks off Stacey Agdern's Last Girl Standing series and is available on June 1st from Thule Publishing and everywhere books are sold. For more about Stacey, go to her website, staceyagdern.com.
And they said, "Love makes you do crazy things." So then they try to get Tough to travel with Julian. and encourage him to get out and things. And he decides to not go.
Oh, that was sad.
I know, that was a bummer. Poor Julian. So he's
that.
he's going to be working on his music and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Didn't that seem confusing though? Like he made it seem like they were breaking up so that he could go home.
It did feel like they were breaking up. So
Couldn't he just say, I'm not going with you to travel for the next 2 weeks? They made it seem like it was just going to be traveling a few weeks. So why couldn't he just say like, hey, I'm going to go to Texas to do this thing. See you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, or it's too bad they couldn't just go to Texas instead of
and
Arizona.
they had this passionate goodbye hug when they could have kissed. They wasted an opportunity
Mhm.
on a kiss between the two of the characters. Instead, they hug it out. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it was like a complete breakup, but it was definitely like, I'm not as committed to this relationship as you are kind of
Yeah.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
thought
which
that
is
was
sad. Poor Julian.
I
Didn't
know.
like it followed with the storyline. Like
Mhm.
they liked each other so much right up until then. And then all of a sudden he was like, well,
Well,
so
it seems like he is just not willing to go against anything with the family or do like anything on his own. Like it all has to be, even though they were the ones telling him like go go go. He is not a risk taker, that's for sure. For
No.
Tough.
well, not in this season. Maybe
Yeah.
next season he will.
Yeah, and they should. And I think it was longer than 2 weeks. I think it was like more of a commitment than that. I think probably, but maybe I'm wrong. That's what I thought. But then
Several weeks.
yeah, but then you have Valerian saying this could be your last chance to get together with Missy. Like you need to go. And so he puts the necklace, or Missy puts the necklace on Cash's door. And she says that box was the only thing that made me think Austin knew me better than anyone else.
Oh.
Which
I don't-
seems kind of crazy. Like you're gonna
I know.
marry someone because they gave you one gift that was significant.
Like, did she even like him? Like truly like him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was
No.
strange too, that this box was the only reason I married him. Like, really, they were
Like not him, not the ring inside or him asking me to marry him. It was the box.
Yeah,
Again,
that
I
seems
think
kinda
that's
crazy.
the writers just sorry. I think that's the writers just showing how much of a better man or person that Cash is for Missy than anybody else.
Mhm.
That he knows her so well. I mean, I don't understand how that would make you, like you said, Rachel, how that would
Yeah.
make you want to marry a man because he knows you like these horses.
Yeah, I mean, she says he chose me, you always just stood by.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't seem like enough.
No,
like,
like,
a
did she have no
marriage.
other option? Yeah.
Yeah.
You have no other option between the brothers?
And did she get her engagement ring back?
Which engagement ring?
Oh, she
Did she-
pawned it.
Oh yeah, the pawn.
Well, she said she'd be back in like a week or two or something. So
Yeah.
who knows at this point? She seems very indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
So then we have him saying, let's see, loving you for me means wanting what's best for you. And he
Aw.
says, well, maybe you're what's best for me. And then we get our kiss, big kiss.
Two big kisses.
Yeah. I mean, that is the one thing that I think is a little bit hard for this show is I think it's screaming to be like a CW show or just like with like more content than Hallmark can give it, because it didn't really make sense to me that they just stopped with this kiss.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think it did.
Really?
I mean, in a way, yes, because Missy seems very, I say conflicted because she's starting to realize finally that Cash likes her more, I guess, than she thought, or maybe she just is finally accepting it. But so I could see her putting somewhat of the brakes on it, or I just don't understand. He's been patiently in love with her, for so many years.
Because he was the one that left. Like she seemed like she was he was the one that
She's
stopped
gay
it
for me.
and
Yeah.
leaves. And I was like, would he really do that?
I don't know.
So Rachel,
just-
you were hoping he would just like lean down and scoop her up and carry her off to the bed.
Well, I
I
that would
mean-
happen because it's Hallmark, but I feel like that's what
I mean, it could fade to
character-
black.
I feel like that's what makes sense for the character.
Yeah. I don't know, because she's still kind of with Gus, and so I don't know that she would. I kind of liked the just. I like a
Mhm.
slow burn though, although it sounds like it's burning for years.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why Cash is so in love with her or so enamored with her. I
Mhm.
don't understand that. Like Missy, maybe she's just never realized it, and she
Mhm.
hasn't seen it. And she's slowly coming to that because he never spoke up because he was so timid around her. And she's like, oh, he knew my favorite horses or whatever. He knows me. Maybe it's that. But on his side, I don't know.
Well, it's kind of weird that I felt like they were actually kind of compellingly building up this Valerian and Cash thing, and then then they kiss and it's like it's over, like done, like as far as the plot.
Oh, that breaks my heart because I was rooting for them.
Yeah, me too. That's a lot for 10 episodes that they did.
Oh, and it's
Um,
over.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
Missy Missy has lunch with her mom, and the mom says, do you remember who you were before the McMurrays? And she brings up the idea of trick riding, and Missy says, I thought you hated me trick riding. But that kind of puts the kernel of the idea in her of like, maybe I should try this again.
I like that because
Mhm.
it shows a purpose for her.
Yeah.
She's got this career, this job. She has something else besides just living on that ranch, being Cash's manager, or I'm sorry, whatever coach.
Coach. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Coach, and just something outside of the family for her to do, because she has worth in herself as well.
Mhm, mhm. But then we get the arrival of Hugo. He's and for Valeria.
Ah,
Your father would like to see you.
I was like, we are never seeing her again in this episode. I knew it
I
because I'm
thought the
sure.
father was be in the back seat. Didn't you think the father was going to be in the back seat?
Yeah.
Oh no,
Uh,
no. I think that they want to cast a name for that character because
Oh.
I'm pretty maybe they're looking for a big actor, like a Latino or Latinx actor for that role with a name that people recognize for like next season. So
That could be interesting. That could be
Yeah,
interesting.
so-
Yeah.
I knew we weren't going to see him, and I was like, we're waiting on it.
But we get Hugo.
Very calm.
Yes. And so then Cash says to Tucker, what's your price? And this is not, and Tucker's not sure how the sponsor is gonna like his new star being an ex-con.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean,
another bomb dropped.
I don't think that would be that big of a deal for like rodeo. It's not like super wholesome, right?
No, I don't think that's a big deal at all today. I don't know. I don't think so.
I thought a convict was like someone that had been to prison, not someone that had spent like 2 hours in jail.
Oh, wait, he was referring to when they got arrested?
Yeah, I think
Or
so.
was he referring
right?
to some kind of past thing? Because when he said convict, I thought, did he serve some time? Because sitting in jail waiting to get bailed out over a fight is not, you're not a convict for that.
Yeah, no, I think I thought that's what they were talking about.
Oh.
That
Yeah,
yeah,
because
that,
he
oh,
said-
because Tucker bailed him out.
Yeah, and he
Oh.
held up the actual bail bond.
yeah.
Oh, that was very dramatic for just that then. He's
Yeah,
not convicted of a crime.
that's
He's like,
true.
you didn't check this bail bonds document very closely that you signed.
I mean, he doesn't even have a court date. I don't think this is very serious. If that's the case, I thought
Yeah.
that, okay, I thought it was alluding to perhaps something in his past. Or maybe I was
Yeah.
just thinking too much about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much control Tucker would have against, with his bail bondsman guy. I mean, I think the bail bondsman is just out for it. Unless I guess Tucker put up the bail. Is that what happened? Tucker put up
Tucker
the bail?
yeah, he put up the bail so that I guess that Cash would throw the thing and then he'd make a bunch of money, which Cash obviously didn't do, and so now Tucker's upset, and you make me look like a fool in front of my people.
You're gonna look like a fool in front of your shady friends. You'll be all right.
So then we see, this is when we see Gus and Cash looking through the window, trying to find Missy, which was cute.
Oh, Val totally stole that belt buckle, right?
Who
When she
did?
got it back, the father's belt buckle, she totally stole that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Back from
Yeah.
Tucker, yeah.
hmm
Oh, you think she stole it? You think she went in there? And
Oh, I
stole it?
totally think she stole that from Tucker, yeah.
Oh,
I totally
thought
think she went in there and she just grabbed it.
got some money or something. Oh, yeah.
Well, she
'cause
owed him so much more than that, I think.
it didn't really explain how she
No.
got.
I was
That's
assuming
true.
she just went in there and said, I'm taking this back.
So then we have Missy trick riding, and Polly is there at the with
Big cliffhanger at the end.
yeah, so
Yeah.
Polly's there. She's got her son Wyatt, and she says, "I knew Austin before Missy." So I was gonna say, so how old do you think that this Wyatt is? Like 12,
I thought
Oh,
11.
11,
Eight
something
or
like
Younger?
that.
No, I think he's like 8 or 9. He's
8
a
or
little
9,
Yeah,
bit-
that
okay.
makes sense. I knew the minute that we saw that kid, I
Yeah.
was like, here we go. I knew it.
Yeah.
Knew it
Yeah.
too.
I knew it.
Yeah, definitely. That was very obvious. And of course, yeah, then she says, Wyatt is your grandson.
So
So
so Austin did all that money to help bail her out of whatever situation because he
must
found
have
out
given
that
her
kid was,
his to do something to save her and the kid.
yeah, because he
Well,
recently found out that kid was his, right, before he died.
Yeah, the 4 months.
okay.
That's the 4 months
Mhm.
part.
Yeah, that was my interpretation. Just wanted to double check.
Yeah. They said that. So, and that's when Tucker said that he'd only been working with him for 4 months.
Yeah,
So kind of makes starting to all the pieces are coming together. So it wasn't all just the debt of it was because they made it seem like it was only because of gambling.
yeah.
But it seems like it's a many tangled web that Austin has
I mean,
made.
it seems an extreme. Maybe he didn't want to say anything because he was afraid when he found out he had a child. Maybe he
Mhm.
was afraid it would ruin the relationship with Missy. But
Mhm.
if I was in that situation, I would be like, this was before us.
Mhm.
You think he would have, if he would have been open with his mother, with Missy, maybe they could have found the money in another way
Mhm.
to try to help them out. I don't think he had to lie about it.
Yeah.
It's nothing to be ashamed of or keep secret.
Mhm. Well, I feel like it's almost the kind of thing that maybe you get convinced, manipulated, because Tucker is very manipulative.
Oh yeah.
What if he gets manipulated one time and then he can then be kind of blackmailed and controlled,
Yeah.
and
He's
it's like
too
you
too
give
deep.
in once and then you don't want anybody to find out, because
Yeah.
if they find out, then you could be kicked out of the sport and everything. And so then you're more likely to be manipulated to do it again and again and again. And I think that's
Yeah.
maybe kind of what happened.
Probably. I mean, because she didn't tell him that she had a son for a reason. because he was very career committed. So for whatever reasons, she kept that to herself, and then finally told him.
Happened that 4-month thing to make her finally tell him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, she must have needed a lot of money. She must have been desperate, or she would have never found out.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of leaving us on a cliffhanger with
Yeah.
still
Oh, absolutely. That was a great ending.
something, but then gave us more. They gave us something that gave us a whole bunch more questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a really solid ending for us wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the season as a whole. I mean, we all three of us have said, you know, that sort of the writing of Missy could have been better. And I think that that's probably would be my biggest feedback, is to kind of work on that character a little bit. But is there anything else you would say, Jenny, that you think they could do better if they're going to do season 2?
I don't know. I thought they did a really good wrap up. I was really impressed that finale of really telling us a lot of things, and giving us a lot of things to look forward to. So offhand, I can't.
Yeah. What about you, Terry? Do you have anything you would say?
Well, I think the show found its groove in the later half,
Mhm.
and I'm really happy with it. But I need a little more work done on Missy, flesh her out a little bit more. But I also need us to see, don't tell us with words, show us why we should be rooting for Missy and Cash.
Yeah.
I need to see a little bit more of that. And you know what? Something more for Tough to do, instead of just being everybody's soundboard. You know, get there's a promise where it looks like he might be pursuing his music, you know, a little bit more storyline for him outside of the family.
Yeah, that's one thing I would say as well. I think anytime that they kind of got into we're building the stadium, that was kind of not the best. So I don't know, maybe kind of work on that. But I think that overall it was really a good cast. I think it's well made. And like I said, I think if you could have an executive to have a little bit of faith in it, I think it could continue to improve and be better. And it's just, I think that it has all the potential to be that sort of Western soap opera that we want it to be.
And it's a good looking show too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, they didn't just throw it together. They took their time to make it look nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
I agree. All right. Well, let us know what you think. If you're listening, we know that it seemed like, at least on Twitter, people were kind of down on the show. So let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear. And there's other people who really enjoyed it. So that would be great to hear everyone's thoughts. And Jenny, where can people find you?
So people can find me at Jenny Martz Books or jennymartz.com. And with the conclusion, I just want to mention, with the conclusion of Ride, so I do write for Hallmark Publishing as well, and my two kind of Western romance books with them are Rescuing Harmony Ranch and Cowboy Ever After, and they are both 99 cents for the kind of conclusion of Ride. So I don't know how much longer the ebooks are going to be 99 cents, but if you're looking for some more cowboy Hallmark romance, cool. Check out Rescuing Harmony Ranch and Cowboy Ever After. Very
good. And Terry, where can people find you?
On Twitter at Flurry Heaven, spouting nonsense.
Okay, very good. You can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. And you can check out all of our recaps for Ride and our interview with Tyler. We'll have a Ride playlist in the description, so look at that. And you can make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews, especially if you like the show, please do. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group and merch store, which are a ton of fun. And we should have some new summer merch coming up pretty soon. So keep an eye on that. And thanks so much, everybody. It's been fun covering this season of this new show. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.